The human mind holds no less mystery than the depths of the ocean. Scientists constantly study the brain and uncover new patterns of behavior. Moreover, the number of surprises always increases. Discovering something interesting about oneself as a human being is always fascinating. In this video, you will learn 25 facts about human psychology. You will get to know yourself a little better and be better equipped to handle life's challenges. Fact 1. Brain activity continues even when we are resting. During this time, the brain filters what is truly important to remember and what can be discarded. When you wake up in the morning, you will never forget what is genuinely important to you but may not recall what you focused your attention on yesterday. Fact 2. Engagement and sleep. A person feels more successful and happier when their brain is occupied. Furthermore, the gray matter is not interested in monotonous work. It thrives on constant busyness, concentration, and switching from one task to another. It is in these moments that a person feels happy. Additionally, when a person becomes happier than usual, their need for sleep decreases. Research shows that the sleep of a happy person is about 10% shorter. Fact 3. You cannot ignore food, sex, and dangers. Have you noticed that people always stop to look at scenes of accidents? In reality, we cannot ignore situations of danger. Every person has a special part of the brain that is responsible for survival and reproduction. Fact 4. The ability to give up what one strongly desires. Researchers have proven that if a person learns to give up what they strongly desire in their youth, they can face life's challenges with greater ease and minimal losses. Fact 5. People are capable of calmly accepting the most drastic changes in their lives as long as these changes occur gradually rather than abruptly. Why do people stay in marriages that destroy their mental well-being? The answer is simple. They become accustomed and resigned because the changes did not happen overnight, giving them time to adapt to the negative. Their reality changed, but slowly, and eventually, what was abnormal became normal. Fact 6. It takes no more than 2 months, or precisely 66 days, for a person to get accustomed to something and automate any action. For example, if you want to switch to a healthy diet, it may take you a little less than 55 days. However, getting used to exercise may require up to 75 days. Fact 7. The average person has between 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts every day. Our brain is 1,000,000 times more powerful than the most advanced computer. But just look at what we spend that power on. 80% of our thoughts are negative, and a significant portion of these negative thoughts repeats day after day. So, all those silly thoughts that sometimes cross your mind are absolutely normal. It happens to everyone. Fact 8. Reading is the best remedy for worries, anxiety, and stress. This activity has a faster effect on the body. Surprisingly, this method is far superior to alcohol consumption, walking, having tea, or listening to music. Fact 9. In psychology, there is a principle. The more expectations you have regarding an event, the higher the likelihood of devastating disappointment. The more you expect, the less you receive. The less you expect, the more you receive. Fact 10. If a window is broken in a house, soon there will be no intact windows left. Then vandalism begins. This is the core idea behind the broken windows theory. In a broader sense, this theory suggests that people are more inclined to break rules and norms of behavior when they see clear signs of disorder around them. This has been repeatedly proven experimentally. Thus, small disorderliness and negligence in your life can lead to major problems in the future. Fact 11. People are reluctant to contradict a calm and balanced person. On the contrary, when someone aggressively defends their opinion, they will encounter resistance and arguments. Fact 12. There is no word more important to a person than their own name. The first thing to remember when meeting someone is their name, not their position or profession. Remembering someone's name is a fundamental rule for establishing good relationships. Fact 13. Psychologists have determined that it takes a woman only 45 seconds to evaluate an unfamiliar man. Out of these seconds, 10 seconds are spent forming a general impression of his physique, 8 seconds on his eyes, 7 seconds on his hair, 10 seconds on his lips and chin, 5 seconds on his shoulders, and the last 5 seconds on his ring, if he is wearing one. Fact 14. People suffering from depression often say they perceive the world around them in gray tones. It turns out that this is not just a psychological phenomenon. The grayness of colors in depression has a physiological basis. In a state of depression, the human retina becomes less sensitive to color contrast and has a harder time distinguishing shades. Conversely, if you are surrounded by grayness and dull colors, the likelihood of experiencing depression or melancholy significantly increases. Fact 15. Incompetent people often end up higher on the career ladder than their more qualified colleagues. According to the Dunning-Kruger effect, people with low levels of competence tend to overestimate their abilities. They are often unable to recognize the wrongness of their decisions. Conversely, highly skilled individuals tend to have a more realistic perspective and are inclined to underestimate their abilities, believing that others do not hold them in high regard. These conclusions were experimentally confirmed in 1999. Fact 16. Women feel loved when they engage in face-to-face communication with their partner, while men, on the contrary, experience emotional closeness when they work, play, or have a conversation while sitting next to their partner. Fact 17. The most well-known example of deception through honesty is that a person who vocalizes their dishonest intentions will appear more honest to others than a person who lacks such intentions or hides them. Fact 18. You can only remember 3 or 4 elements simultaneously. There is a concept called the magical number 7, plus or minus 2, which suggests that people can hold no more than 5 to 9 units of information simultaneously. Most information in short-term memory lasts for 20 to 30 seconds, after which we quickly forget it unless we repeat it again and again. Fact 19. A child begins to perceive their separate self only after the age of 2. Before that, they feel connected to the entire surrounding world. Just as we consider our hand or leg as part of ourselves, a young child considers the whole surrounding world as part of themselves. Fact 20 to 90% of all illnesses have a psychological component. A person's well-being can only be achieved through restoring their mental equilibrium. Fact 21. It has been proven that a child deprived of physical contact with others for a prolonged period of time can deteriorate and even die. Therefore, the absence of physical and emotional connections can be fatal for a person. It is a kind of sensory deprivation that needs to be stimulated in every person's life. Fact 22. Observations by psychologists show that during personal interactions, conversational partners are unable to maintain constant eye contact for more than 60% of the total time. However, the duration of eye contact can exceed this in 2 cases: when people are in love and when they are aggressively inclined. Therefore, if an unfamiliar person stares at you for a long time, it often indicates hidden aggression. Fact 23. The dilation and constriction of pupils are not consciously controlled, so their reaction clearly indicates the interest of a partner in you. Dilated pupils indicate increased interest, while constricted pupils indicate hostility. However, this phenomenon should be observed in dynamics as the size of the pupils also depends on the lighting. In bright sunlight, a person's pupils are narrow, while in a dark room, they dilate. Fact 24. If you have decided to embark on an important task, never tell anyone about it. Otherwise, it may not work out. When you announce your plans, your brain mentally checks it off as done, and it becomes challenging to convince it otherwise. This may sound like superstition, but psychologists have confirmed this pattern through serious research and surveys. Fact 25. To gain someone's trust, you need to hold them in your embrace for about 20 seconds, of course, with their consent. It's all about oxytocin, a hormone that is produced in the body when we feel safe, especially when we are close to loved ones. It also calms and relaxes us. This is another argument in favor of embracing during long winter evenings. If you enjoyed this video, please share your opinion and subscribe to the channel, friends. Until we meet again.